London, the city that never forgot. There's a place where history breathes beneath every cobblestone, where the echo of kings, poets, and rebels still lingers in the fog. A city that has burned to ashes and risen like a phoenix more than once. A city of empires, revolutions, and dreams. This is London, the river and the origins. Long before skyscrapers brushed the English sky, before double-decker buses roamed its streets, there was only a river, the Thames, a silent, winding ribbon of silver that called to traders, warriors, and wanderers. It was along these muddy banks, over 2,000 years ago, that Roman soldiers first drove their stakes into the earth and named it Londinium, a small trading post at the edge of a vast empire. No one could have imagined that this modest settlement would one day command the world. Ships came and went. Markets thrived. Walls were built, roads carved, and the city began to hum with life. But like all great stories, London's was not one of peace. It was one of survival. When the Roman legions withdrew, chaos followed. Vikings raided. Fires burned. Yet each time, London endured, battered but unbroken. The medieval heart beat. By the Middle Ages, London had become the heart of England, a patchwork of wooden houses, church spires, and narrow lanes so twisted you could lose yourself between sunrise and dusk. The air was thick with the smell of roasting meat and river mud. Bells tolled from St. Paul's Cathedral, not the grand dome we know today, but a Gothic giant reaching for heaven. Here kings were crowned and plots were born. The Tower of London, that cold fortress on the Thames, watched it all, a silent witness to both glory and terror. Inside its stone walls, crowns were guarded, and traitors met their fate. The medieval city pulsed with contradictions, faith and fear, wealth and plague, loyalty and rebellion. And in the year 1665, death swept through its streets, the Great Plague. The Black Death took 1 out of every 5 souls. Doors were marked with a red cross, and the words, "Lord have mercy," written beside them. The city fell silent except for the creak of the dead carts rolling through the night. But London refused to die. The Great Fire and the Rebirth, then came the fire. In 1666, in a small bakery on Pudding Lane, a spark leapt from an oven and began a blaze that would consume nearly everything. Flames devoured the city for 4 days. Over 13,000 homes turned to ash. The sky glowed red for miles. Yet from the ashes, something extraordinary happened. Sir Christopher Wren, a visionary architect, stood among the ruins and imagined a new London, grander, stronger, made of stone instead of wood. His masterpiece, St. Paul's Cathedral, would rise like a beacon above the skyline, a promise that the city would never again be undone by fire. And so began London's rebirth. Streets widened, bridges multiplied, trade flourished. The city grew into an empire's beating heart. The empire and the world. By the 18th and 19th centuries, London wasn't just a city. It was the capital of the world. From the docks of the East End to the mansions of Mayfair, fortunes were made and lost in a single day. Ships sailed out to every corner of the globe, carrying tea from India, gold from Africa, spices, silk, and stories. The Industrial Revolution turned London into a powerhouse of steam, iron, and ambition. Factories roared, trains thundered, and the Thames bustled with life, ferries, barges, and steamers crowding its waters. But beneath the glitter of empire, there was darkness. The smog thickened, the streets grew crowded, and poverty cast long shadows. In the alleys of Whitechapel, a name whispered in fear: Jack the Ripper. His crimes would haunt London's foggy nights forever. And yet, even in the gloom, there was brilliance. Writers, artists, and dreamers gave voice to the spirit of London. Charles Dickens walked its streets, turning the city's struggles into immortal stories. And the theaters of the West End echoed with laughter and applause. The city at war? Then came the sound that changed everything, the siren. In 1939, war came to London once again. The Blitz rained fire from the skies. Night after night, bombs fell, buildings crumbled, and the people took shelter deep underground in the London Underground stations. But the city would not bow. Winston Churchill's voice carried through the airwaves. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall never surrender. And London listened and endured. When the smoke cleared, London rose again. Scarred, yes, but proud. The rubble became the foundation for a new era, one of unity, resilience, and hope. The modern metropolis? The London of today is a city of contrasts, old and new, past and future intertwined. Glass towers pierce the clouds beside centuries-old cathedrals. The London eye spins above the river, watching the ghosts of time drift by. Red buses glide through streets once filled with horse-drawn carriages. In Camden, music and rebellion still echo from every wall. In Notting Hill, color and culture bloom at carnival time. And across the Thames, the Shard stands like a blade, cutting through the skyline, shimmering in the mist. Every corner of London tells a story. A whisper of Shakespeare in the Globe Theatre, a memory of royalty in Buckingham Palace, a trace of revolution in Parliament Square, and beneath it all, the underground veins of the Tube, millions of journeys crossing every day, binding the city together. The soul of London. But what truly makes London, London? It's not just the monuments or the palaces or the glass towers. It's the people. People from every nation, every faith, every dream, walking side by side on the same streets. From the street artists of Shoreditch to the bankers of Canary Wharf, from the poets on the South Bank to the market traders of Brixton, London is a tapestry woven from 1,000 cultures, yet somehow it beats with one heart. It's a city that welcomes and transforms you, whether you arrive as a tourist, a worker, a dreamer, or a wanderer. Because in London, everyone becomes part of its story. The Eternal City. At sunset, the Thames glows gold beneath the bridges. The bells of Big Ben toll once more, timeless, familiar, eternal. And as the city lights flicker to life, you realize something profound. London is alive. It doesn't belong to the past, or even the present. It exists in every heartbeat of time. The Romans built it. The fire remade it. The wars tested it. But the people, the dreamers, the fighters, the believers, they defined it. From the fog of history to the gleam of the future, London stands unbroken, unyielding, unforgettable. And so, if you ever find yourself walking its streets, pause for a moment. Listen to the whispers of history carried on the wind. Look beyond the skyline, because London isn't just a city you visit. It's a story you become part of,